On July 29, 2026, the sun was setting over Egypt's Damietta port, where two massive industrial gas tankers were linked together at the dock. That quiet was interrupted by a sudden burst of flames that quickly engulfed the primary ship, followed by explosions shaking the harbor. Within the hour, the Egyptian Ministry of Petroleum issued a statement meant to calm the markets. They claimed the fire was a contained, operational incident, likely starting in one of the ship's engine rooms. But the scale of the response suggested otherwise. Two fully loaded tankers were ablaze in a strategic port, and the official narrative of a routine fire was already under pressure. While the government spoke of a contained fire, shipping data told a different story. Tankers in the Mediterranean made sharp U-turns to avoid the coast, as security firms flagged the incident as a probable external attack. The insurance industry responded even faster. Major underwriters immediately pulled war risk coverage for the entire region, effectively signaling that the waters around Damietta were no longer considered a commercial zone, but a combat zone. The official story lasted less than 24 hours. On July 30th, the Egyptian Prime Minister held a press conference to admit the fire was the result of a drone strike. Investigators recovered these fragments from the scene, identifying the specific engine components and the shape of the wing fuselage as a Shahed-136, a long-range suicide drone. By sunset on July 30th, the investigation moved entirely from reviewing engine maintenance logs to analyzing the origin of foreign weaponry. To understand why this didn't level the entire port, you have to look at how these ships are built. They carry liquid gas at -162°C, a temperature difference that makes the ship's hull incredibly vulnerable during a fire. Inside the hull, a specialized membrane made of a nickel-steel alloy acted as a heat shield. Even as external temperatures climbed to 1,000 degrees, this layer prevented the heat from reaching the freezing liquid inside. As the fire spread, the two ships began to drift apart. This triggered the emergency shutdown system. When the sensors detected a drift of exactly 7 meters, the system took control of the transfer hoses. The system executed a dry brake, where the mechanical valves slammed shut and the hoses detached instantly. This ensured that no liquid fuel spilled out to feed the fire on the decks. A massive explosion was avoided not by luck, but by automated systems that successfully isolated the cargo from the fire. With the ship stabilized, the focus shifted to tracing the flight path of the drone. Early suspicion fell on the Houthi movement in Yemen, given their history of maritime attacks. However, the group took the unusual step of issuing an immediate and public denial. Attention then turned to a broadcast aired on Iranian state television just 48 hours before the strike. That broadcast included a map of targets for retaliation. One of the specific locations highlighted on the screen was the gas terminal at Damietta. The timing was also critical. The drone hit Damietta on the same day the U.S. launched strikes in Iraq and Iran fired missiles toward targets in Jordan. Analysis of the day's events suggests the drone was part of a coordinated series of strikes across multiple countries. The impact on Egypt was immediate. With the damaged import vessel taken offline, the country lost a major source of fuel for its power plants, leading to a series of national blackouts. To manage the crisis, Egypt diverted incoming gas to the port of Aqaba in Jordan, bypassing the Mediterranean route entirely. The gas is processed in Jordan, then pumped back into Egypt through the Arab gas pipeline, providing a temporary overland lifeline for the power grid. This maneuver kept the lights on, but it demonstrated how easily Egypt's energy security can be compromised by a single disruption at a sea terminal. The economic fallout quickly spread beyond Egypt. Fear of similar drone strikes led to an 81% drop in ship traffic through the Strait of Hormuz as companies waited for security guarantees. Major shipping lines like Maersk responded by adding emergency surcharges to all regional cargo, covering the soaring cost of insurance and redirected routes. Markets reacted to the logistics crunch almost instantly. This graph shows the result, a projected 130% spike in the price of gas for Asian markets, as the regional supply chain stalled. The investigation into the Damietta debris shows how a single strike in a Mediterranean port can immediately redraw global shipping routes and spike energy costs thousands of miles away.